Welcome to the Cryptonest. So I'm attempting to do the news I covered yesterday. Well, maybe more likely this time should be shorter. Who knows? All right. So the new president of United States don't stop bugging Canada for Canada as a 51st state. Uh, yeah. So some people, there is always a perception, right? So some try to say, it's a compliment, but others like it's an insult. But anyway, so this is start to be a new joke at the beginning, but then at the end, it really has a fixation on Canada and 51st states, which honestly it doesn't even make sense because Canadians are more, democratic, so they would vote for Democrats. So integrating a 51st states as Canadian, it would be just to accept another huge California. I don't know how many times we would be, like 10 times the size of California. So, yeah, so Republican, they will never ever see the majority for the next, I don't know, 50 years maybe. So it's just sometimes there are things that are just not logical. This is a big one. All right, so starting from that, then there's like Britain, England considered the 52nd uh, states. Yeah, that's crazy, right? So, but this thing is start to backfire big time on the Mr. President, and the thing is that Canada to be the 28th member of United Nations, Europe. So, and nearly half of Canadians say yes. Honestly, when they say nearly, I'm not even sure because I think, I mean, I would say majority they would say yes. Um, so this is backfiring big time, and then there is a big shift now on Canadians. Not that we don't like Americans, but we dislike this administration and the way it treats people, and let's say, let's be honest, not respectfully. So when you don't respect a party or another side or another person, you tend to not deal with it or him. So, well, to make any trades possible in companies, you need to have respect, and when you don't have that, well, you if you don't have respect, you don't have trust. When you don't have trust, you cannot really make business with someone you don't trust. And since this president signed already another agreement of trade, but now before it was the best trade ever agreement, and now he says that no, everybody's taking advantage of the treaty. So uh, everybody's taking advantage of US, but he signed it, and before it was the best one, and now it's not. So he's not respecting his word, and that's another thing. You cannot really trust or do business with someone who always going to change his idea. So now Canada and Canadians are first of all, now it starts to be impressive. But when I go to the grocery, there start to be pop-up logos of the province. So does it come from the province, or is it Canadian? And if you don't have those two logos, people that just don't pick it. Um, Actually, at the end of the day, it would be even easier if they just label the Americans one, and people they're just not going to touch those one, because Canadians, unfortunately, now we are in this forced commercial war that no one really want to, but now we need to avoid Americans products, which sucks for Americans because it's going to affect their economy, and it's going to affect their jobs, and as well as this side of the border. So at the end, everybody is suffering except the rich one. So let's go back to the trades fundamental. So a Canadian company or American company or a company in general they have employee, they have a nice benefits, you know, they have a good salary, they have union, everything is good. Now CEOs, and they want to make the company more productive, more efficient, so they find a way to make more money, so they can justify their increase of salary, substantial increase of salary, or option of shares and this and that. So now what do? Well, they start to plan a new fabric opening abroad, so in another country where regulation are maybe less regulation, or maybe no regulation at all, and no union. Workers are paid like nothing, and they make more profit. So they shut down the companies in the industrialized or G7 countries, and go abroad into emerging country, and then so citizens, they lose, because they lose those jobs, they lose those advantages, and the CEOs, they open abroad company fabrics, they make more money because the profits are bigger, shareholders are happy, and CEOs, they can get those enormous increase of salary and options of shares. Now, this president say, wait a minute, I want the fabric back, right? So, okay, so let's go back. Everything I just said now about the companies, right? So who's the loser? It's the Americans are the loser, because they see a job going away, and maybe they see the price maybe go a little bit lower, but who's making the most the money? It's the shareholders and the CEOs and all the the big shots of the company. Now, so now let's go back. Now the president want to reinstate or re-encourage companies to go back to US. Re-encourage, that's a weak word. Threaten to come back, otherwise it's going to charge tariffs. So tariffs is Americans, taxpayers, that are going to pay it, and that's 25% if they're lucky. There are some products are going to be taxed even more. So when the company go abroad and shut downs in the country, American are the losers. That they're losing, actually, And then if someone force the company to bring them back, American are the loser again, because they are embracing, they have no choice they are being choked, and they are being imposed at those 25% at least tax. Now, on top of that, yes, a couple of jobs are going to be reintroduced in US, but shareholders are going to make more money. Why is that? Because the president said he's going to cut tax on companies. CEOs are going to be okay with that. They are going to be, look, we are so good. I open a company in US, and then I reintegrate this company to our economy, and blah blah blah. So shareholders are going to still make money because of the tax reduction. Americans are going to pay for it, because if they reduce 10% tax on the corporation, well, who's going to pay those companies? It's Americans with their 25% tariffs. So the loser, it's always the hard-working people. All right, so now that the president threatened Canada and actually the rest of the world, if the car is not made in US, it is going to be charged 25%. And actually, it was big problem, because Volkswagen was about to shut down some plants, some fabrics, and now, because with the meeting on Zelensky on the White House, and then this is the point that historian they will finger point that date, and then that was the rupture of US versus the world, because now it threatened, actually it is a war against the world, trading war, right? With tariffs. So it literally put a tariff on the any product of the rest of the world. So that's crazy because who's going to pay that? Once again, American people. And do you think the rich people, do they bother? No, they don't care. Actually, now they're more likely they're starting to accumulate stocks that are very cheap. So they're going to more likely they have shorted the market when he start to impose the tariffs, and then maybe eventually no, they're going to be in the inside of information right ahead of us. So when they're going to be about to remove the tariffs, they're going to long the market, and so the poor people are going to get poorer and richer. They will be 2-3 times more rich than before. All right, so now Volkswagen, because now US is withdrawing from the NATO, or pretty much now Europe, it's really reinstating or reprogram himself. I think the rest of the world before accepted, and everybody was peaceful with it. US is the dominant country, and when you have a dominant country and there is peace, everybody is not pushing for changing his destiny, or there is harmony. But now with this president, now the harmony has been broken. So now Europe actually voted for a new rearmament plan for 800 billions of euro, and now they will start to rearm themselves, and they're not going to be relying on US anymore. And actually, I'm not even sure they consider them allies pretty much anymore. Anyway, reliable ones. And so US now is going to be alone, and because of all these tariffs, is actually going to give the market to the Chinese. Chinese automobile now, they're going to invade all the world, and American automaker, they cannot compete, right? Because they put tariffs on everybody, and the Chinese one are very cheap. That's why they had to put them 100% tariffs on EVs, Chinese. Now Canada did the same, but now because it was supporting the US and they were supporting each other, but now that Canada and US now, they don't have this agreement anymore, and actually US doesn't consider Canada as a partnership. He actually said, the president, that we are the competitors or the adversaries. So why Canada would still hold that 100% on Chinese electric vehicle? Anyway, the president of the United States made it very clear: any car made in Canada will be taxed. So what are we fighting for Chinese? And actually, by doing that, we actually impose to the Canadians to be forced to pay more for North American made EV. And now Tesla, I think, is having a bad moment, and so things are shifting. Now Volkswagen, he was about to close some plants, but now, ta-da! Volkswagen open to building military equipment for Germany army. Sorry about that. So this is a new thing now, because Europe is going to start to rearm himself, and he's going to recycle and stimulate his own economy by finding a new life vocation for the automobile industry. And so as Europe rearms, Canada has what it needs. So now Canada, because of Trump, and it make it really clear that he's bullying us. So then now Canada is more willing to go and turn to Europe, and maybe do a post-NATO alliance, which I think Americans are not going to be included anymore, because anyway they're not reliable. And so now, this is the thing. The Lockheed Martin F 35 uh, jets. Okay, so let's go on that. And this is the latest news, right? This is the damage the President Trump is doing now to Americans. So I asked AI in the last 2 months how many F 35 orders are being cancelled or planning to be cancelled. And so here's the recap. So cancel already officially Portugal 24, Canada 72, and 72 they're talking about it, but pretty much I think it's a deal done. Switzerland 36, Germany 35. Now, and I did ask. Okay, so Portugal officially has canceled its order, and the other one are considering the purchase, so it's still ongoing. And then I ask, what would be the potential loss in dollar if they cancel their orders? And actually, I thought it was much higher. So that's under 67 F-35s, and that's 13.77 billions. But then I was man, like, because I for our 88 in Canada, I heard about 19 billion. So how can it be, right? And then here it triggered me. In a long-term cost of owning and operating F-35 are significantly higher than the initial purchase price. For example, Canada estimated cost for 88 F-35 for 45 years, it's 73.9 billions. Holy cow. So now, so then I ask, can you calculate what would be the long-term loss of cost of owning those under 67? And so now he was doing the maths here, and it goes out that where did I saw that? Let me just check it here. I think it was 2 trillions. Billion different. Okay, additionally, the F-35 total cost is expected to top 2 trillions over the entire lifespan in the US military, which plan to fly through 2088. So that's crazy, right? And so for those 167 F-35s, that's 140 billions that would have cost for owning and operating. That's an amazing loss for the US. Anyway, potentially, but it already started to materialize because Portugal already canceled them. So you can see that sometimes, underestimating a situation can really backfire. So now I forgot to say that. Where was it? Here. Was it here? I had something. I think it. Anyway, I did find an article, and then he was saying that the automobile parts that are doing, actually parts from the American cars are going to reroute or modify their chain to actually now they wanna be part of the rearmament of the Europe and actually start to prepare and build parts for the military vehicles. And actually, potentially they're going to sign maybe with I think it's Sweden, or more likely it's Sweden, but there is also French fighter jets, and they could actually build them here, and not all of them, I mean not all the parts, but they could just recycle the automobile parts that usually do some parts for the US. They could just make fighter jet or military equipment for Europe. So it's actually going to stimulate the economy, the Canadian one. We are going to purchase some fighter jet and then invest locally, which before I don't think it was the case. We're just giving all the money into the United States. So this is really starting to backfire on the US, and this is sad because now it's breaking a very long-term friendship from Canadian and American. And today I was listening, and actually the government of Canada is actually warning Canadians to not go to US because some Canadians are being jailed because they have visa issues. But then at the end of the day, when they go in front of a judge or something, the judge is like, but why have you been incarcerated? There is no reason, this is as scary as that. And it's not only Canadians. There are many European, Germans, that some people they had the green card, and they got jailed anyway. So this is crazy moment, crazy times for a foreigner to be in the United States. I heard one that the woman, she was married to an American, but she didn't have any I don't know who bring a wedding certificate with her with yourself, to say, hey, no, look, my husband is American. They didn't care. They just put her in jail. I mean, so this is scary, and those are not news from YouTube. It's from the newspapers or TV news, right? So I am inclined to trust the news. And all right, so this is pretty much all. Hopefully this time the video is good and there is no overlapping in videos. And this is pretty much all I wanted to cover for this week. I will try to do maybe once a week a video on some news. If you have any ideas on news that you want me to cover, I will be pleased to do some research and then show it to you. Alright, so hopefully you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and notification bell, and have a good day.